What's going on, guys? Big welcome to you all to our channel. We are Team Crushing the Meta. You're with D-Boy. I'm here for you guys with the release of the new set, Phantom Dragon Aeon. So this set features Spikebullets, Megacolony, Tachikaze, and Shadow Paladin. And my main clan is Spikebullets, so I normally do all the reveals for Spikebullets. But I'm also a fan of Dark Face in general, as in Gredora and the original Dark Face. And because of that, and our stream for today was the reveal of Dark Face and their new mechanic, I thought why not to show it to you guys, tell you our thoughts about it, and maybe see in the future if we will make the deck. I think that Chris Flores, Blazing Paladin, will normally make the deck, but I think that other people from our group are also interested in making the deck, like Alex. Definitely making it, maybe James also be making it, and I myself maybe also will make it because I play Megacolony in premium, so why not also make it in standard? Alright, so for today's reveal we got Gredora reveal. So the art, first of all, looks pretty well. As we already saw it, she looks very sexy, she looks really good. And her skill is also new. It's kind of a lock mechanic, but in a different way. It's really something that fits let's say the theme for Megacolony. So what she does is, of course, she has protect marker. That's we all knew that will be. She has an act ability and an auto ability. Both of them work only on Vanguard, which means she is the ace of the deck. That's the one that you want to ride into. And her skill is once per turn. The first one is a cost of counterblasting 1. Choose up to 2 of your opponent's regards without any Cradle marker, and put a Cradle marker on each of them. Okay, so you counterblast 1, you choose 2 of your opponent's regards, and you put Cradle marker on them. If you don't know what a Cradle marker does, then you need to wait a minute. But pretty much it already said it in the ability. That Cradle, or the unit that you put a Cradle marker on, will lose its original ability, its original power, so it will be reduced by its original power. It cannot boost and it cannot intercept. So pretty much it's almost the same as locking for 1 turn, because it cannot boost, it cannot intercept, and also it loses its power, and it loses its ability. Even if that unit gets retired by a card ability, or you call on top of it, when it goes to the drop zone, if that unit has an ability, when it went to the drop zone, the ability will not activate because Gredora or the Cradle marker just removed the whole ability. And that's not all. When that card gets retired for some reason, you may search your deck for up to 1 card with the same grade as the unit that got retired. So pretty much you minus your opponent, or at least your opponent's unit will be unaffected, and so it doesn't do anything anymore. But also when that unit gets retired, you also plus to your hand. The Megacolony player will get that plus and not the other way around. So that's the Cradle mechanic, which is, in my opinion, really good. Some people are calling it the same as lock, but it's actually not, because you could still attack with that unit, you could still call on the top of that unit. The only thing that will happen is pretty much your opponent would plus out of it, and on that turn it's almost the same as retiring. So I see it this way: it's kind of retiring, but then the Megacolony player pluses out of it, which is getting the same grade as that unit, which means that Megacolony is getting something that they never got before, which is not only that they are saying, hey, yo, you cannot use that unit anymore, but it's also that they will be able to search from their deck, and that's pretty good. It makes the deck very consistent. The second ability of Gredora is also very good, and it reminds us a little bit of the Stride, the newest Stride for Gredora. And what it does is, when it attacks, you retire 1 of your regards, and then you search your deck for up to 1 grade 3, you call it to a regard circle, and you shuffle your deck. And then this unit and that unit get an extra 10k. It's almost exact the same skill as Stride. So pretty much you have now also a multi-attacking option. You have the other grade 3, which we saw on the stream, but we already thought of that because we played it in our premium deck, which is the grade 3 from the older sets. When it's called, then you could restand one of your Vanguard. So you pretty much will be attacking with this Vanguard, then the other Vanguard, then you attack with the Gredora, you retire one of your Vanguards to get the grade 3 and restand the other one, so you have 5 attacks. You're almost doing the same as what Charlotte is doing, but without the extra power. Although this unit and the unit that you call also get power, and most of your other Vanguards will be gaining power as well. So this is the skill of Gredora. Pretty good skill. It's also not on place. That's the good thing about it. You could just chill on her for the whole game if you want to, and you would still be able to plus. Alright, next card we have is the original Darkface, and I'm very happy that they brought him back. The only strange thing that he is a double rare, which for me as a Sparkle player does make me happy, because this could mean that Sparkles will get 3 triple rares and Megacolony will only be stuck with 2, which is the grade 2, which I will show you after this card, and of course their grade 3 searcher. But yeah, let's start with the Darkface. Of course, he also has 2 ability, and his abilities are Vanguard and Vanguard, which means that this is the support grade 3 for the deck, and you pretty much don't really need a lot more than this. Alright, so his skill, first one, is an auto ability when placed. You already see that this has very good synergy with Gredora, because Gredora's skill to call a grade 3 will be active with this card, because when you call him you can still activate his ability. And what he does, you discard a card from your hand, no count blast, very good. Choose one of your opponent's Vanguards without any Cradle marker, and you put a Cradle marker on it. And the other stuff is still the same. So you pretty much will be able to on place, discard a card and put a Cradle marker. And then some people would say, hey, yo, but you are minusing yourself to put a Cradle marker. Yes and no, because when that unit with a Cradle marker will get retired, you would plus again out of it. But now you're giving your opponent even more Cradle markers, if that's needed. If not, then you don't have to activate his ability, of course. So the unit with a Cradle marker loses its power, loses its ability. When it gets retired, you search. The same thing. Alright, now the second ability is when he attacks. Also on Vanguard and Vanguard, you count blast 1, you choose one of your opponent's Vanguards with a Cradle marker and you retire it. So you gain that plus right away when he attacks, which is very good. And then this unit gets an extra 5k for each of the grades of that unit that you retire. So pretty much you're gaining power, and then you search right away. If that's a grade 0, you could still search your PG. You could play grade 1 PGs to search your hand. You could get another grade 3 if they retire grade 3. You could do a lot of stuff with this deck. This deck just became way more interesting to play than it originally was. So that's very, 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 very good, and also very impressive to be able to give Megacolony such a mechanic, multi-attacking, search, and power on field. And remember, it's a protect clan, so that's amazing. All right, the last cards for today's reveal is a grade 2. And if I'm not mistaken, this should be the Umber clone, but I could be wrong, because I do remember the art, but it does look a little bit different than that, and I do not remember the name. I have it in my binder behind me, but I really don't remember the name. So she has also 2 abilities. The first one is on guards, on Vanguard and Vanguard, and the second one is only on Vanguard circle. So her first ability is pretty much when placed. You count +1, and then you look at the top 6 cards of your deck. You reveal up to 2 cards with Darkface and their card name, and you put them into your hand and you shuffle your deck. So that's amazing, but then they need to have different card names. So that's good, because you cannot add 2 Gredoras or 2 original Darkface to your hand. You have to add 1 Gredora and 1 other Darkface. But if you have 1, you add 1. And the good thing about this card is you don't have to discard. So it does cost you a count blast, but you pretty much could add 2, which means that this card is kind of better than Mantis, right? Because Mantis also costs you a counterblast, and this card costs you a counterblast. Then her second ability is when it attacks, you Soul Blast 1 as a cost, and then this unit gets extra 6k for every Cradle marker your opponent has on the field. And if its power is above 20k, then you draw a card, which is really not that hard to get. If they have 3 markers, you pretty much get it, but you could also boost her, which would also work because it doesn't say it's said on attack, so you could still boost her. So that's actually a very good ability. She is another card that plus you. She is a powerhouse, and again, her first ability is also very impressive to be able to give you those grade 3s to your hand, so you will be able to ride right away on the next turn. Alright, and last but not least, as I said, the Cradle marker, which we already explained what it does, pretty much has 2 abilities. The first one is that when this chills on the top of your opponent's unit, so pretty much when you get the Cradle marker, you just put it on the top of your opponent's unit, as we saw on the stream. If you didn't see it, then you pretty much, you don't put it on there, you just put it on the top of the unit, and that unit's power becomes 0, because it loses as much power as its original power. So let's say that your Vanguard or your opponent's Vanguard gives all of the Vanguard extra 5k, and the Vanguard that you put this Cradle marker on is 10k, but he also gained extra 5k from his own ability or the other ability. Then that grade 2, let's say, it's a grade 2 10k with ability that it gets 5k. Okay, when you put the Cradle marker on it, first of all, it loses its ability, so it loses the 5k. Then it loses its original power, so if it's a 10k, it loses 10k, so it becomes 0. But if one of the other units could give it an extra 5k, it would still be a 5k. You understand? So that's the differences between this and lock, or this and it loses power, or its power becomes 0. It just loses its original power and it loses its ability. And also it loses the ability to intercept and to boost, which makes this Cradle marker very good against clans that have stuff on the field that they want to keep on the field, because as long as this stays on the field, which it does not get removed as long as you don't retire something, you keep your opponent's field, let's say, at bay. Yes. Okay, then the second ability, as I said, when that unit gets retired that has a marker on it, the Megacolony player will be able to search the deck for up to the same grade 1 card and add it to the hand. And that's pretty much it for this video. Actually, a very interesting way to see how Megacolony will be able to fit itself into our format, to have this kind of interesting abilities that people will pick the clan up again and play it. It's not OP, I would say, but I would say it is very strong, and it's also very rewarding for good players to play this deck. Me myself, I think that I will pick the deck up because I'm very interested in the playstyle of the deck, and I pretty much also have almost everything I need from the older support to make the deck. Also, as I said, I do play it in premium, and now why not to play it in standard as well. Okay guys, thank you all for watching. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. As I said, Megacolony is not my main clan, but definitely worth to show it to you guys, and hope that you enjoy this video. Thanks for watching it again. Until next time.